Yo boys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to go over my Rust FPS guide. We're going to get straight into it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let's go. Boys, let's get right into the settings. First off, you want to go to your bottom left. You want to search up, actually no, you want to hit your Windows key plus R. You want to type in %temp %, hit OK. And this will open up all your temp folders. In this folder, Windows doesn't normally clean this folder. I don't have a lot compared depending on how old your system is, but you just want to hit Control A, then do Shift delete, and it'll ask you to permanently delete all your items. You want to do this to the ones that say it cannot be deleted or whatever. You check this in and hit skip, and then this will just help your drive clean up faster and everything. Then you also want to go into your recycle bin after. Sorry, I can't type. And if there's anything in here, you guys just want to get rid of that unless you need something in there, but usually it's something you want deleted. This is where your deleted files go, so when you delete something, you actually have to hit Shift delete to permanently delete it. And yeah, that's for that. Now we're gonna go and optimize our Rust. So we're gonna go into Steam, go to your library. You wanna right click on Rust, you wanna go to Properties, Local Files, Browse Local Files. You want to right click on Rust, Properties. You want to go to Compatibility. You want to disable full screen optimizations, hit change DPI, high DPI settings, or DPI settings, I forgot. And you want to hit this, override high DPI scale behavior, scale and perform my application. You want to hit OK, apply, hit OK. And you want to do this for the Rust client as well. Go to Compatibility, check that in, high DPI, check that in, hit OK, apply. Okay, there you go, you're done with that. Alright, now we're going to be optimizing our game bar. I want to type in Windows, or actually you just want to type in game bar. I'm typing game, and then you want to scroll down a little or look down, and it'll show up game bar settings. You want to turn this part off. This is only if you want to talk to your friends on Xbox or something, but you really don't need any of that, and you want to uncheck that in case you ever use Xbox controller. And yep, this will increase FPS a little bit. I want to go to game mode, and you want to leave this on right here. This is for Windows optimizations to help you with your PC when you boot up a game. And then we're gonna go into Discord and optimize our Discord. I'm gonna go to user settings. We're gonna go down to overlay. Now most people have this overlay on because they don't know how to turn it off, or they just leave it on. This will increase performance a ton if you don't have a lot of RAM or a high CPU count. So you want to uncheck that for more performance. We're also gonna go to appearance, and if you really want performance, you can turn this off, disable hardware acceleration, or restart your Discord after. This will increase a lot of performance, but your Discord is going to act really slow than it was because it's not using any of your GPU. It's going to use your CPU and RAM from the software. Now, we're going to go to Steam again. We're going to go to home of our library. You want to go to Rust, right click on Rust. You want to go to Properties again. And Steam input per game setting. You want this to be forced off, and BPM overlay when Steam input is active per game setting. You want this forced off too. And use desktop game theater while Steam VR is active. You want to turn that, uncheck that for Rust. Enable Steam overlay while in game. I don't know why you would need this for Rust. If you really use it that much, you can leave it on. But yeah, we're going to turn that off. You can hit close and you should be done. And now we're going to go to... I'm going to show you guys how to update your GPU drivers. So depending whether you have AMD or NVIDIA, you want to right click, and there's either going to be AMD control, AMD Radeon, or whatever it is right here, or NVIDIA control panel. You click that and it should open this right here. Now this would be actually your 3D settings. So you want to go to manage 3D settings. This would be in Radeon and NVIDIA too. You just have to do the right click. And you want to use, if you don't want to copy my settings, you can just go down here, use my performance emphasize. You can go down to performance. So just scroll that all the way down to performance. This doesn't even affect anything in game. This is just hardware acceleration. The quality isn't even that noticeable. It's not noticeable at all actually. If you're willing to do this right here, you want to copy my settings. I'll scroll down slowly for you guys. Once you're done, you just want to hit apply and then exit out. And then now we're going to be on to updating your GPU drivers. Now, depending on which app you have, again, AMD or NVIDIA, you want to either Google it, or unless you have the app like I do, you could go down here, right click this, go to NVIDIA GeForce Experience, and then you could go to drivers. This is for AMD too, and you could update your driver, check for updates, and then install it. Once you guys are done with that, now you want to go to your Windows power plan. To get to that, you want to hit the little search icon or search bar, whatever you have. Type in Windows power, or actually, don't do that. Just type in power. Now you want to hit that, and now you go back once. You want to go to power options. Now, depending on what you have, I'll put a link in the description for the command to type that into your command prompt to unlock the ultimate performance setting. If you don't see an ultimate performance setting, maybe it might be under here, show additional options, and you want to check that in, or the best setting you have if you don't want to go into Regedit and do to unlock ultimate performance. So you just want to check that in, and your power plan will be the best it can be. So your GPU will be using maximum power if you can. Now so this is more of a tip than anything. When you're about to start your game, of course I have OBS and stuff, but when you're about to start the game and all this stuff, but when you're about to start the game, you want to close out most of these apps right here, like if you have any apps. So say you're playing Rust, what this video is about, you want to exit out, you would be exiting out Wallpaper Engine, OBS Studio, Razer Cortex helps with FPS, or Razer Central. And then you'd be left with like 5 or 6 apps, which would help your FPS a lot because there's no background apps running or anything, which will be easier for you to get more FPS. Now we're gonna head over to in-game settings. If you guys are done with all that, there's a special thing that I'm gonna put in the description for you guys, or I'm gonna put up a download link. Whatever's in the description, it'll be there. It'll be under launch options. You wanna make a new text file. This will be in the description right here. You wanna make a new text file. Name it whatever you want. I'm just gonna call it launch. You want to copy that. Once this is copied, there's only some simple things we have to do. Each of these dashes are going to represent something. Increase FPS. Now, what we set up is these X's right here. Now we're going to go to max memory. To figure out your max memory, you go to task manager. Once you're in task manager, you go to performance, and then you want to go to memory, and then this is your max memory right here. Mine's 32 gigabytes. The average would be 8 or 16, and I'm gonna put this up. This is the old launch setup sheet. Once this opens, I have a little chart right here for how much RAM you have. That's the exact amount you need. There you guys go. So for me, it would be 32,768. I type this in, so 32,768. Now your CPU count. To figure out your CPU count, you want to go to Task Manager, Performance, CPU, and then your CPU count is your CPU cores. So I have 8 cores. I'd put 8 cores in here. Now my threads are your logical processors in Task Manager. That would be 16 for me, or whatever it says for you. You put that in. And now you copy this, right? Don't save, you don't have to if you don't want to. You go to Steam, Library, Rust, Properties, Set Launch Options, and you want to paste that in. I already have it pasted in, so I'm not going to do it, but this is going to help you with all your FPS. Very good. It increases FPS a lot. This is more of a advanced thing. Now we're going to head over to the in-game settings. Okay guys, now since we're in the in-game settings, you want to go to options. Now your FOV, I would just crank that to 90. That's the best competitively. It's not going to help with rendering or anything for like some games do. And Rust, it loads around in the circle of all objects, so it doesn't really matter. So I would just crank that to 90. All these settings are just preference right here. Nudity and censorship. So underwear would actually kind of help you with FPS. I don't think it'll increase a lot, but compared to pixelated and nudity, it won't have to load in as much textures and I forgot what they call them, polyessence, no, vertices. It just won't have to load as much shapes. And yeah, it'd help you, so I'd suggest putting underwear, and it'd help you if you do videos or anything. Hide signs, that's just personal preference. I mean, you could really have that off, and it would actually help, so you don't have to load them in or anything. Your choice, though. Physics max Gibbs, for competitively, you would want to put it to 0, and most FPS, so I have it at 0. UI, this is all your choice, just preference. Audio is all just preference. Controls, that's all just preference. Screen. For screen, you want to put a viable FPS limit, like 150 or 144, or whatever your system can handle. So you put up an FPS counter and put up the average, or you can get something better, like if your app comes with it, or you can just download an app that graphs it, and you can check your average FPS. 1080p if you want, you could turn that down to 720p. I would have VSync off. VSync kind of reduces FPS, but helps you with the stuttering, if you have stuttering issues or tearing on your monitor. Exclusive is full screen, but it's a full screen where you can hit the Windows key and tab out. So that's what I will do. Full screen gives you more FPS. Exclusive does too. Windowed doesn't focus the application right. Graphics quality, I'd put that up to 6. Shadow quality, I don't really care about my shadows, so I put it down to 0. Shadow cascades 2, I'd have that to no. Shadow lights, I'd have that to none. Water quality, I'd have that to 0. Water reflection 0. Word reflection 0. Shader level, it goes from somewhere around 217 to 350 to 530 something, and then be at 600. There's like 5 different shader levels, and this is mainly just ground clutter. So if you want to go like 230, it makes the ground look really clean and helps with FPS. It also kind of gives you a competitive advantage with ground clutter, so there's not as much. It's easier to see people. And draw distance, this is with your system, but if even on the low end system, I'd suggest having it to 2500. It'll help. Just competitively, so you're not at a disadvantage. You could turn it down if you really wanted to, though. Shadow distance, I have that down to 50. Anisotropic filtering, I have that to 16 just to make my textures look sharper for videos. You could turn this down if you wanted to, but this gives a large important performance impact. But this depends on how sharp your game is too. Parallax mapping, I put that off. It doesn't really help. Grass displacement, I put on, but I'm gonna put it off now. That's only when you walk over it. Particle quality, you can turn this down more if you wanted to, but for video purposes, I have it up to 100 because I make Rust videos. Object quality, this is for all objects you hold and dropped items on the ground. Default is 100. You could kind of just leave it there or put it down to 50. This is just objects you hold in your hand and on the ground. Pretty much it. Tree quality isn't really important, and tree meshes, but I put it up yet again for video's sake. But for FPS sake, you'd want to turn this down to 100 or lower. Or you could just go in game and test out tree quality and see what works for you. These are the settings I like for videos and stuff. Terrain quality I put to 0. Grass quality I put to 0. And decor quality I put to 0. Grass isn't really that important. It's not like you stare at grass all day, so is the terrain. And decor quality is just decorations and stuff. You don't really need that. Image effects. Now, this gives a pretty good performance impact. Usually you're supposed to have this off and all these off. But since I like my game to look really sharp, I have this up to max. A suggested one, I would just do FXAA, but I want to do it to max, so I did TSSAA, and I did sharpening because I like my game to be really sharp. The rest of these should be off. They're usually annoying things like motion blur. That's just really bad. Depth of field gives you a disadvantage. Ambient occlusion and high quality bloom and lens dirt, these will just distract you. So is vignetting. Experimental, I have grass shadows off, context shadows on, sustained pedal support on, and occlusion culling on. Grass shadows will just render in every grass blade shadow, which will decrease FPS a lot. And yeah, those are your Rust settings. Enjoy.